Chapter 1 of Bunyip Land. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This reading by Lucy Burgoyne. Bunyip Land by George Manville Fenn. Chapter 1. How I made my plans and they were endorsed. Now, Master Joseph, do or done now do. I'm sure your poor dear eyes 'll go afore you're 40, and think of that. Bother! What say, my dear? Don't bother. You're always running your finger over that map thing, my dear. I can't abear to see it. Nurse Brown looked over the top of her spectacles at me and shook her head, while I bent lower over the map. Then the old lady sighed, and went on making cottage windows all over my worsted stockings, giving vent to comments all the time, for the old lady had been servant to my grandmother, and had followed her young mistress when she married, nursing me when I was born, and treating me as a baby ever since. In fact, she had grown into an institution at home, moving when we moved, and doing pretty well as she liked in what she called our house. Bang! Bless the boy! Don't bang the table like that, she cried. How you made me jump! It's of no use talking, nurse, I cried. I mean to go. Go, she said. Go where? Go and find my poor dear father, I cried. Why, nurse, am I to sit down quietly at home here, when perhaps my poor father is waiting for me to come to his help? Oh, hush, my dearie, don't talk like that. I'm afraid he's dead and gone. He isn't, nurse, I cried fiercely. He's a prisoner somewhere among those New Guinea savages, and I mean to find him and bring him back. Nurse Brown thrust her needle into the big round ball of worsted and held it up as if for me to see. Then she took off her glasses with the left hand in her stocking, and shaking her head she exclaimed, "Oh, you bad boy! Wasn't it enough for your father to go mad after his botanicky, and want to go collecting foreign buttercups and daisies, to break your mother's heart, that you must catch his complaint, and want to go too?" "My father isn't mad," I said. "Your father was mad," retorted Nurse Brown, "and I was surprised at him. What did he ever get by going wandering about collecting his dry orchises and rubbish, and sending 'em off to England? Fame," I cried, "and honour." "Fame and honour never bought potatoes," said nurse. "Why, 4 different plants were named after him." "Oh, stuff and rubbish, boy! What's the good of that, when a man gets lost and starves to death in the furren wilds?" "My father was too clever a man to get lost or to starve in the wilds," I said proudly. "The savages have made him a prisoner, and I'm going to find him and bring him back." "Aye, you've gone wandering about with that dirty black till you've quite got into his ways." "Jimmy isn't dirty," I said, "and he can't help being black any more than you can being white. I wonder at a well brought up young gent like you bemeaning yourself to associate with such a low creature, Master Joseph." "Jimmy's a native gentleman, nurse," I said. "Gentleman indeed!" cried the old lady, "as goes about without a bit of decent clothes to his back." "So did Adam, nursey," I said, laughing. "Master Joseph, I won't sit here and listen to you if you talk like that," cried the old lady, "a comparing that black savage to Adam. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. It all comes of living in this horrible place. I wish we were back at Putney." "Hang Putney!" I cried. "Putney, indeed, where you couldn't go half a yard off a road without trespassing. "Oh, nurse, you can't understand it," I cried enthusiastically. "If you were to get up in the dark one morning and go with Jimmy—" "Me go with Jimmy!" cried the old lady with a snort. "And get right out towards the mountain and see the sunrise, and the parrots in flocks, and the fish glancing like arrows down the silver river. There's just how your poor dear pa used to talk, and nearly broke your poor ma's heart." "No, he didn't. He was too fond of her," I said. "Only he felt it his duty to continue his researches, the same that brought him out here, and oh, I shall find him and bring him back." "Don't! There's a good boy. Don't talk to me like that. You're 16 now, and you ought to know better." "I don't want to know any better than that, nurse. I know it's my duty to go, and I shall go." "You'll kill your poor ma, sir." "No, I shan't," I said. "She won't like my going at first, because it will seem lonely for her out here, but she'll be as pleased as can be afterwards. Look here, my mother—" "Say ma, Master Joe, dear." "Doey, please. It's so much more genteel." "Stuff! It's Frenchy. Mother's old English. Mother don't believe father's dead, does she?" "Well, no, my dear. She's as obstinate as you are about that." "And she's right. Why, he's only been away 4 years, and that isn't so very long in a country where you have to cut every step of the way. Coo ee, coo ee, woo 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 woo, Why up!" Coo ee," I echoed back, and nurse held her hands to her ears. "Now don't you go to him, Master Joseph. Now please don't," said the old lady. "Mass Joe, hi Mass Joe. Jimmy fine wallaby. Tick fass in big hole, big tree." Just then my first lieutenant and Nurse Brown's great object of dislike, Jimmy, thrust his shiny black face and curly head in at the door. "Go away, sir," cried nurse. "Hip fis, come catch fis. Me and Townsend all up a creek. Jimmy go way." He stood grinning and nodding, with his hands in the pocket holes of his only garment, a pair of trousers with legs cut off to about mid-thigh. "If you don't take that nasty black fellow away, Master Joseph, I shall be obliged to complain to your poor ma," said nurse. "Get out," I said. "Jimmy won't hurt you, and though it don't show, he's as clean as a new pin." "He isn't clean. He can't be, dear. How can anyone be clean who don't wear clothes, Master Joseph? And look at his toes." Nurse Brown always fell foul of Jimmy's toes. They fidgeted her, for they were never still. In fact Jimmy's toes, which had never probed the recess of a pair of boots, were more like fingers and thumbs, and had a way of twiddling about when he was supposed to be standing still. Stand perfectly still he never did, and these toes belonged to feet that in climbing he could use like hands. More than once I've seen him pick stones off the ground just like a monkey, nurse said, or stand talking to anyone and keep his attention while he helped himself to something he wanted with his feet. "There, be off, Jimmy," I said, for I wanted to stop indoors. "Come catch fis." "No, not today." "Hi wup wup wup." Jimmy threw himself into an attitude, snatching a small hatchet from the waistband of his trousers, and made believe to climb a tree, chop a hole larger, and draw out an animal, which he seemed to be swinging round by its tail. "No, not today, Jimmy," I cried. "Sleep, sleep," said Jimmy, imitating a kangaroo by giving a couple of hops into the verandah, where he chose a sunny place, well haunted by flies,